this is Albert with Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to talk about how no doctor will ever tell you need to stop drinking tea. Now before we begin, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so these episodes come fresh to you, and come visit us at the Tea House and of course post a comment. So what is the genesis of this video? Well, I get a lot of people who come here and I hear this kind of phrase, well, my doctor told me I need to stop drinking coffee. I'm like, you're never going to hear a doctor tell you need to stop drinking tea. And why is that? Look, there was a woman who came here to interview us for the San Marcos paper back in late May, and she asked about coffee and tea. And I said, there's a lot of health benefits to coffee, but every health benefit you can get in coffee, you can get in Camellia sinensis without some of the adverse effects that you can get in coffee. And really, I could just end the video right there, but I should just flesh this out. So what does that mean? Both the Arabica bean and the Camellia sinensis leaves do have things that fight inflammation in the body, free radical damage. Every day our body is being attacked, not just by microbes, but with solar radiation and just wear and tear, apoptosis, cell death, all these things that happen to us. Our cells are just constantly dying and new ones are replacing them and so forth. But our body is always being attacked by something. And so you have this kind of free radical damage. So both coffee and tea have a lot of polyphenols. Polyphenols are a type of antioxidant. And so they fight against free radical damage. And so when you eat a lot of things that have these things, polyphenols, because you can get them from a lot of foods, namely a lot of fruits and vegetables, they get anthocyanins, the things that you get in blueberries. In general, when you're looking at fruits and vegetables, the more colorful they are, the better. So our salad shouldn't just be like light green stuff. We want to be eating fruits and vegetables with a wide variety of color, and that's how you know you're getting a lot of polyphenols, among other things, vitamins and minerals and whatnot. So both coffee and tea both have a high amount of polyphenols, but tea has infinitely more than coffee. Coffee has a lot of caffeine, not as much as some of the power drinks out there, certainly Monster and 5 Hour Energy, but in its natural core, it has about 100 milligrams of caffeine in a cup. And some of that is determined on how you roast it and whatnot, but that's the average. And we know that caffeine is the most widely consumed psychostimulant in the world. They're never going to ban it. They tried to ban alcohol in the 1920s and that didn't work out. So they're never going to ban it. But we know that the body metabolizes coffee differently than it metabolizes tea. And I think a good analogy is simple carbs versus complex carbs. So simple carbs would be like white bread, the sugar that we get from sodas, and among other things. And when the body consumes that, it breaks it down very quickly, and that sugar enters your bloodstream, and then insulin is released, and so you have high insulin, high sugar, and your body's just like, as opposed to a complex carb like whole grain breads or legumes, the body breaks that down and the sugar in it is released slower so the body can compensate better. And so I think that's a good analogy when it comes to the caffeine in coffee and tea. Not only does coffee have double the caffeine than the typical tea drink. Now there are going to be some tea drinks that we've talked about here on the episode on caffeine, like Kyokuro, like matcha, and some other ones that do have tantamount amount of caffeine than the typical cup of coffee. But as a whole, tea has about half, if not less. You look at some of the blends like Moroccan mint, half of that is peppermint, right? You look at hojicha. Hojicha's got minuscule amount of caffeine. And we're just talking about tea plants. We're not talking about tisanes. So you're looking at half the caffeine, but also how the caffeine is taken in by the body and how the caffeine in coffee causes the body to be a little overstimulated. So the body is going to spike. This is the reason we've been drinking coffee, at least the West has since the 1600s. But what are you going to notice? Some of the ancillary side effects of drinking coffee or 5 Hour Energy or anything is that you get the jitters, you're like the nervous guy from Inside Out, you're gonna just be maybe palpitations, but certainly you're gonna feel it. Not everybody who drinks coffee is gonna get palpitations or jitters, but you're gonna feel it. And then lots of times, similar to sugar, right? You get this rush, then you get the crash. And then what do you need? Oh, I need more coffee. You get the rush, and then you get the crash. I think of Lorelai Gilmore from Gilmore Girls, right? She's just constantly drinking coffee. Tea is not like that. And so when doctors tell people who drink coffee, lots of times when they reach a certain age, or if they have certain comorbidities or certain diseases, they tell them, hey, you should wean off the coffee. Why is that? Well, because maybe they're drinking too much coffee and it's causing some side effects to it, palpitations and whatnot. Maybe they're drinking coffee with a lot of sugar, and that's also problematic. But we know, the doctors know that coffee does have benefits, but it has more liability than Camellia sinensis. And what does Camellia sinensis have that coffee doesn't have? L-theanine. L-theanine is an amino acid that causes relaxation, but at the same time it causes relaxation, it gives you focus. So again, tea, healthiest beverage in the world. The only one that could be close is maybe green juice, like a good green juice. Healthiest beverage in the world, because you're getting so many antioxidants, which is good for your brain, good for your heart, good for your skin, good for every cell in your body. And then you look at something like green tea and pu'er, they can speed up your metabolism, they can fight gut problems like leaky gut, especially pu'er, dark teas. You get half the caffeine, but you're getting L-theanine. So you're never going to hear a doctor say, you need to get off of tea. If anything, they're going to say, you need to drink more tea. And this is why you guys need to be drinking tea. And the teas that have the highest amount of antioxidants are going to be, no offense to you guys who love Earl Grey, it's going to be greens and whites. And you can say yellows too, but nobody drinks yellows. And then the teas with the highest L-theanine are going to be greens and blacks. But as a whole, this is why if you don't have a palate for green tea or white tea, you need to start working on it, because this is truly the healthiest beverage in the world. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care and God bless.